By now, everybody's aware that Canada is on track to legalize recreational marijuana by July 1st of 2018, which is just next year and just in time for the country's 151st birthday. Now, while medicinal marijuana has been available for something like 2 decades, this marks a pretty big step forward because now the country's taking it one step further and legalizing it for everyday use. Now, there are obviously going to be restrictions. As it currently stands, nobody below the age of 18 will be able to purchase it. And, the government's still working out all the other legal and financial hurdles involved in this sort of endeavor. But this does raise some pretty interesting questions. And from an industry standpoint, how is Canada going to benefit from having legalized weed? Because as it currently stands, there are a few states in America where weed is recreationally legal. However, at a federal level, it's still illegal. So any federal administration can crack down and override state law. And another country where it's completely legal is Uruguay. There might be one more, but if I'm wrong, let me know. Anyways, so with that in mind, with the so few number of countries that have legalized weed, this could be a huge opportunity for Canada to be an industry leader. Because as Bloomberg is about to report to us, there are several companies that have been waiting for this day a very long time. And some of these companies have experienced enormous stock surges over the past few days. The first company, Canopy Growth Corporation, and as Bloomberg reports, quote, the first Canadian company with a market value of $1 billion, making it a marijuana unicorn. Its stock rose as much as 11% intraday in Toronto, the biggest gain since November 2016. The next company, Aurora Cannabis Incorporated, based out of Edmonton, Alberta. Its stock gained as much as 11% also. The next, Afria Inc., rose 6.5%. And Organigram Holdings Incorporated jumped 10%. Bloomberg continues. The value of Canada's pot stocks have soared amid investor optimism that recreational sales, which Canaccord Genuity Group Incorporated said in November could reach $6 billion in sales annually by 2021, may actually start as early as the year 2018. Canopy Growth has seen its share price rise more than 300% in the past 12 months, while Aurora has climbed more than 400%. So after going over those numbers, it's pretty reasonable to suggest that whoever started these companies is probably going to be making a lot of money. And whoever invested in these stocks is probably very happy right now. And if those projections for income come to fruition, there's an argument to be made that, many jobs could be created by allowing this new industry to grow and flourish. And one other interesting point, Aurora, which is set to become the biggest weed company in Canada, is based out of Edmonton. And Alberta right now is struggling as there's a very low price of oil right now, and their economy is very much dependent on that. This could be a new way for Alberta to diversify its economy. And as the legalization process continues and it's finally signed into law and this company makes a bunch of sales, it'll have money to hire people, whether it be manufacturing, sourcing, distribution, marketing, etc. This could create a lot of prosperity for a lot of people. And I haven't even gotten to the projected revenue that the government is going to make off this. But Bloomberg has us covered. Predictions vary on how much tax provincial and territorial governments can place on weed. Most consumer goods are subject to a tax of 5 to 15%, depending on the province. Some economists have estimated that annual tax revenue could hit $5 billion. So $5 billion, that's a lot of money. And that could be used to fund a lot of important projects that could create value for a lot of people. And depending on where you live in this country, there are a number of people who suffer from drug addictions. Here in Vancouver, we have a huge homelessness problem. And a lot of these homeless people are stuck on the streets, and they're addicted to a number of very harmful substances like fentanyl, heroin. So it's been a huge debate in this province for a number of years on how to help those homeless people and get them off the street. Now, if the government is currently making a bunch of money off legalized weed, perhaps that could be a way to help those people and bring them back as contributing members of society. Just an idea. But I think this is pretty important, especially amid what's going on south of the border in America. As it currently stands, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, federal law can override state law on that issue. So if there are a bunch of companies flourishing there, the government can, basically say, sorry, sayonara, closing up shop here. So that's a huge barrier to economic growth. They're putting barriers in front of a lot of companies to flourish, to make money, and eventually hire people. So the fact that Canada is not going that route, is taking the more progressive direction and legalizing this substance, I think there are a number of wins, whether it be for society, for the economy, etc. And I don't really smoke weed, but I think this is a pretty powerful project for the government to proceed on. But do you think Bloomberg is correct in suggesting that, companies like Aurora could be industry leaders? Right now, they're making the amount of money that they're making because weed isn't really legal in too many countries. But in 10 or 20 years, will they still be leaders? Do you think these projections are correct? Also, if the Trump administration is successful in cracking down on the legal weed areas of America, how will this affect distribution of weed exiting Canada and going into America? What if Trump makes significant changes to NAFTA? What does that mean for marijuana substances? I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. I think it's pretty interesting. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. And please like and subscribe to my channel if this is the type of content you're interested in. But I will catch you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.